Aesop's Fable. The Bald Man and the Fly offers a timeless lesson on the perils of overreacting to life's minor irritations. Through a simple yet humorous encounter, this tale explores the themes of anger, revenge, and the wisdom of choosing one's battles wisely. As we delve into this story, we'll discover how a seemingly insignificant incident can teach us valuable lessons about patience, self-control, and the importance of maintaining perspective in the face of life's small annoyances. On a sweltering summer day, our story unfolds with a bald man seeking respite from the heat. As he sits in the shade, wiping beads of sweat from his gleaming pate, a persistent fly begins to buzz around his head. The insect, drawn perhaps by the sheen of the man's bare scalp, starts to circle and land repeatedly on the unfortunate fellow's head. With each landing, the fly's tiny feet tickle and irritate the sensitive skin, causing the man increasing discomfort and frustration. At first, the bald man tries to shoo away the bothersome insect with gentle waves of his hand. But as the fly continues its relentless assault, the man's patience begins to wear thin. His irritation grows with each passing moment, his face reddening not just from the heat but from mounting anger. Finally, as the fly alights once more upon his head, delivering a sharp sting with its proboscis, the man's composure shatters. In a sudden burst of fury, the bald man raises his hand high, determined to end the fly's torment once and for all. With all his might, he brings his palm down in a swift, powerful motion, aiming to crush the pesky intruder. However, in his haste and anger, the man's aim proves less than true. Instead of squashing the fly, his hand connects solidly with his own head, producing a resounding slap that echoes through the air. The impact of the blow is immediate and painful. The man's eyes water, and a large red mark begins to form on his scalp where his hand made contact, adding insult to injury. The fly, having nimbly dodged the clumsy attack, now buzzes around the man's head with renewed vigor. To the man's ears, the insect's drone now seems to carry a mocking tone, as if laughing at his misfortune and failed attempt at retribution. Rubbing his sore head, the bald man looks up to see the fly circling above him. In that moment, he imagines the insect jeering at him, taunting him for his foolish overreaction. "Look at you," he fancies the fly saying, "trying to avenge a tiny bite with such force, only to harm yourself in the process. What a fool you are." The man's initial reaction is one of embarrassment and renewed anger. How dare this insignificant creature make light of his pain and humiliation? But as the sting of his self-inflicted blow begins to fade, a different sensation takes hold, one of reflection and dawning wisdom. Taking a deep breath, the bald man composes himself and addresses the fly, though perhaps more for his own benefit than for the insect's. "You may think you've won this round," he begins, his voice calm despite the lingering ache in his head. "And perhaps you have. But consider this. I can easily forgive myself for this blow, for there was no malice in my intent towards myself." He pauses, considering his next words carefully. However, had I succeeded in destroying you, a contemptible creature that delights in tormenting others, I would have considered it a victory well worth the price of my own discomfort. For in ridding the world of a pest that brings nothing but annoyance to all it encounters, I would have performed a service to my fellow man. The fly, of course, pays no heed to the man's philosophical musings, continuing its erratic flight around his head. But the man, having voiced his thoughts, feels a sense of calm settling over him. He realizes that his anger, while momentarily satisfying, had led him to act rashly and cause himself more harm than the fly ever could. In some tellings of this fable, the story ends here with the man having learned a valuable lesson about the futility of overreacting to minor provocations. In others, the narrative continues, showing how the man applies his newfound wisdom to similar situations in the future. One such version has the man encountering another fly on a different day. This time, instead of lashing out in anger, he simply waves the insect away with a gentle motion, saying to himself, "You will only injure yourself if you take notice of despicable enemies." This response demonstrates the man's growth and his ability to apply the lesson he learned from his earlier experience. The moral of The Bald Man and the Fly is multifaceted, offering insights that remain relevant across cultures and centuries. At its core, the fable cautions against reacting to insignificant provocations with excessive anger or force. It illustrates how such disproportionate responses often lead to harm, both physical and emotional, that far outweighs the initial annoyance. Moreover, the story encourages us to be discerning in choosing our battles. Not every slight or irritation warrants a response, and sometimes the wisest course of action is simply to ignore minor nuisances. By maintaining our composure in the face of petty annoyances, we preserve our energy and dignity for more important matters. The fable also touches on the theme of revenge, suggesting that the desire for retribution, especially against insignificant foes, can be. The bald man's initial reaction, while understandable, ultimately caused him more pain than satisfaction. This serves as a reminder that seeking vengeance, particularly for minor offenses, often hurts the seeker more than the intended target. Furthermore, The Bald Man and the Fly highlights the value of self-reflection and learning from our mistakes. The man's ability to analyze his actions and draw wisdom from the experience demonstrates the importance of turning moments of frustration into opportunities for personal growth. In a broader sense, the fable speaks to the human tendency to magnify small problems, allowing them to disrupt our peace of mind and lead us to actions we may later regret. It reminds us that maintaining perspective and emotional equilibrium in the face of life's inevitable irritations is a key component of wisdom and maturity. As we reflect on this simple yet profound tale, we're encouraged to examine our own reactions to the minor annoyances we encounter daily. How often do we, like the bald man, overreact to small provocations, causing ourselves unnecessary stress and harm? The fable invites us to cultivate patience, practice restraint, and approach life's little bothers with a sense of humor and proportion. In conclusion, Aesop's The Bald Man and the Fly serves as a timeless reminder of the importance of emotional intelligence and self-control. Through its vivid imagery and relatable scenarios, it teaches us that true strength often lies not in our ability to swat away every annoyance, but in our capacity to remain calm and composed in the face of life's myriad irritations. By heeding the wisdom of this ancient tale, we can learn to navigate our daily challenges with greater grace, sparing ourselves unnecessary pain and preserving our energy for the truly important battles that life presents.